Hey everybody, this is Jesse James with Stay Ready. All right, today we're going to be cleaning the Smith Wesson M&P 2.0 PC. This is my EDC, the Holosun P.id flashlight on it, the Holosun EPS red dot on there. Let's see if we can get the red dot to make an appearance. There you go. You can kind of see it. This is the one with the circle and the dot, but I think with the camera, it's not really picking that up, but yeah, so it's not a solid dot. It's the actual circle with the dot in it. 65 MOA, and I think it's a 2 or 303 MOA dot in the middle. But I got the Tyrant flared Magwell on there. You know, shout out to those guys. That thing, this thing fits perfect. And this Magwell actually fits the 17 round and the 23 round magazine. There's other ones out there that only fit the 23 round magazine. So when you buy those, be careful. If they have like an extra little lip right there, they only fit the 23 round magazines. They will not fit the factory Smith Wesson 17 rounds with the little lip right there. This one doesn't have the lip on there. See? So without this part, this will fit the factory 17 and the 23 rounds. So you're not just stuck with just the 23, you know, if you want to switch back and forth. But all right, so I put probably about 100 rounds through this thing. Usually when I teach classes, my students will ask me, hey, you know, what do you carry, or what's your favorite? Then I'll usually show them this. But you know, most of the times it's loaded, so I don't really pull it out, but I got, you know, a picture in my slideshow during class that I show them. But yep, this is it. This is the PC. So it's ported, the Holosun P.id light on there, the dual stage flat trigger. Oh, so before I go too much further, this is safe. It's unloaded. There's no magazine in there, you know, because I was just kind of playing with the trigger, so I just want to make that clear. This is safe and ready to go. So, all right, well, I put about 100 rounds through this, so I'm just kind of cleaning it, checking it, you know, making sure everything is good. And, you know, I like to keep it oiled, and it's been a while since I oiled it. So, all right, takedown lever is down, slide lock is in place. Let the slide lock go. With Smith & Wesson, you do have to pull the trigger to get it to release. There we go. It's apart now. So now I'm just going to kind of inspect it, make sure there's no, you know, cracks or damage or anything goofy like that. So here's my ported barrel. So, all right, everything looks good. Not seeing any unusual damage, not seeing any excessive wear or tear. All right, it looks pretty good and clean. All right, let's get going cleaning. So as you can see here, I got my Real Avid stuff. I'm a huge Real Avid fan, and that's just because I've tried the other stuff, and I mean, it wasn't bad, but when I just tried the Real Avid stuff, I just really liked the way that it functioned. I like the way everything worked. I like the style of their cans and everything. You know, most cans, they have the straws that detach, and then, you know, trying to put it on, you spray yourself and all that goofy stuff. But this here with the flip down can, I just like it. It's my preference. You guys do what you want to do. This is just what I'm doing. And since this is my video, hey, I'm show what I like. All right, let's get going here. So I just got done cleaning the 2.0 bodyguard. So this tray already has some liquid in it, but I like to use these type of trays here because it kind of contains everything. And then, you know, like with the gunk blaster, I love using the gunk blaster because this gets off all the old oil and debris or any type of buildup. And then plus with the tray, now I can kind of dump it in there and it's somewhat of a bath. It gets to sit in there. I mean, of course, there's dirty stuff on the bottom, but, you know, it's still clean stuff floating at the top. So usually just roll around, knock it around, and it's pretty good and clean. With the barrel, you know, just kind of spray this around the barrel, spray it down in there. And something else that I like to do, this is just me personally, but I like to take my pins and my scrapers, my cleaners, and I just like to do this. And then you can see that, you know, it's a little bit of buildup on there. Like I said, I only got 100 rounds through this thing, so this isn't necessary to do, but I just like to do it. You know, you're using this stuff to defend your life. Why not go the extra step to you know, make sure it's gonna perform when you need it to, right? Yeah. I mean, it was a little tiny bit that came off there. I'm not sure how well you can see that. Yeah, it was just a little bit that came off. So not enough to hurt anything, but, you know, I'll take a chance. All right, so now I like to hit a little bit of bore foam in there. And then once again, this is just me. This is my technique. So bore foam. Bore foam coming out of all the ends. Then I'll just let that sit. And then while that's sitting, now kind of move on to the frame. Move on to the pistol grip. So with this, I like to just go along right here. Just anywhere that, you know, stuff can be riding, where it's contact. And I apologize if I'm doing this and I keep going off camera, but I'm just kind of focusing on what I'm doing here, and I keep forgetting that I'm actually shooting a video. And that's another reason I kind of keep babbling too, so I kind of remember that I'm doing the video. So hope you guys can see that. All right, there we go. And then you really don't need a lot in there to, you know, get it nice and clean. So yeah, all right, I'm gonna stop right there. I think that's good enough for me. Okay. All right, so now put this over out the way. Now we're gonna move on to the slide. So usually with the slide, I just hold it like this. Put this like that, and then just some gunk blaster. Gunk blaster in there. Gunk blaster along this rail right here. What I like about this gunk blaster is if you really, I'm barely pushing the button right now, but if you really get down on it and push it, it's a pretty good stream that comes out of there. So it's not enough to, like, you know, push something out of the way and damage anything, but it is enough to get the pressure through there and make sure everything is clean. Make sure you blow all the gunk and garbage and stuff that you don't want in there to blow it out. And now this here, I'll just take my little scraper. Make sure you guys can see this. Take the scraper, and I'll just scrape along here. Because when this closes up, this is where your firing pin comes out right there. And this is where the ammo has to sit flush and flat. So a lot of times if you have a misfire or something, you can have some build up in there and the ammo's not sitting flush and the firing pin's just not coming out far enough to make contact. So why not do it right? Like I always say, you're using this stuff to defend your life, your family's life, loved ones. So go the extra step and take care of it. All right, there we go. That's that. All right, so I just shot a bunch of gunk blaster in there. I'm gonna get a little more right here. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna let this, let the barrel and the spring, let that kind of keep marinating there. I'm gonna leave that in that bath. And then now I'm just gonna focus on the slide here. So for the slide, and we got all in there. So now I'm gonna take my gun oil, and I like this gun oil here with the little needle tip on it. So that way you can really like get into the seams and the cracks. There you go. And what I like to say is, you don't want this stuff running. I like to have it just shiny. And when I say shiny, that means that it's a coat of oil on there. You don't want it running, because when it's running, that's too much. You don't need that much. It's not like the engine on your car where you want to make sure that there's oil flowing there. You want this just shiny enough to say that, yep, there's oil there. So when the metal and the polymer is sliding together, it's not going to damage it. So that's it right there. All right, so we'll let this sit to the side, and now we'll come back to the frame here, to the grip. Kind of jumping ahead of myself with trying to clean, but I also do this just to make sure that, you know, I'm not missing anything, and I'm checking for damage too, you know, just in case there's something cracked or broken or something that was missed, you know, just preventative maintenance type of stuff. All right, so it looks pretty good. So now I'm just gonna put a bead of oil right in there on top of the slide, down in there, right there, right there. And I'm using gun oil, but a lot of times I will use like my COP, or, you know, or the aerosol COP. But either way, just as long as you use something that's approved for this type of stuff, you know, you don't want to be using like WD-40 and stuff like that. I know some guys that say, oh no, WD-40 works perfectly fine. Yeah, that's true, but you know, I just know that they make gun oil and certain brands for firearms for a reason. So just like I wouldn't use cooking oil in my car, I don't want to use something that wasn't made for, you know, something that was not made for firearms. I don't want to use that on firearms. You know, you see, I spend a lot of money on this stuff, so I want to make sure I maintain it and take care of it. All right, so yeah, this is it. Just get a little thin bead on there. You don't need a lot. You really don't want a lot on this because, you know, when you're carrying this stuff, you don't want to be walking around with a bunch of oil and stuff on your clothes because, you know, it leaked out of your holster and now it's not running down your leg. All right, here we go. That's that. All right, so let me go back to the tray over here. Let's start with the barrel. And let's see here. So on the barrel, yeah, you can see a little bit of debris in there, a little bit of leftover powder and whatever. All right, so now what we're gonna do, I got my little bore brush here, a little barrel brush. So now, I'm just gonna take this. This is made for 380 and 9mm, and just run it through. And my belief is just because the bullet comes and goes one direction, I want to honor that. So that's why I just don't take this brush and just, you know, just run it back and forth through there. I don't think it'll damage or hurt anything, but I don't want to take the chance either. I'd rather just, you know, just do this. I mean, it's taking me 2 seconds to take this brush off. So, you know, ain't no harm in that. So you can kind of see in there, you know, it cleaned it up a little bit, but so now I like to use these speed patches. And what these speed patches do is it just allows you to get in there and, you know, get all the extra stuff. So the bore foam kind of loosens stuff up. So this here, it just kind of gets in there and it just kind of loosens everything up, gets it ready to come out. And then when you go back through, well, the gunk blaster starts the process. Then the bore foam really gets in there, and, you know, that's why I like to let it sit and kind of cook. And then go in there with this, with the brush, to really knock stuff loose and, you know, get stuff ready to come out. And now this is called the speed jag. So now we're going to put this on the end of our pole here. And we'll put a speed patch on, like so. And once again, this is the stuff that I like to do. If you guys like to do something different, go ahead. But I just put a little bit of COP on there, and I just put just some, maybe like a ½ inch down or whatever. I don't soak the whole entire thing. And now you kind of see how this looks. Now put this on, Take this off. And now look, that's how much came off. Just that one swipe. Just that one swipe, that much came off. So I have another new patch here, another speed patch, brand new. I'm gonna put this one on. Then I'm gonna hit it with some more COP. I'm just gonna go light this time. Just put something like that. Yeah, go a little bit more. All right. And now we'll put the barrel back on. And now look, you see how clean that is now? I mean, you can still see a little bit there. And now, put this to the side. Now let's look down in there. Yeah, that's a lot better. You can see that rifling in there. It's a lot cleaner. There's no little specks or dust or debris in there. All right, we're good to go. So now I'm gonna take my COP. This is the aerosol. I'm just gonna hit a little bit on here. Like I said, you guys do what you want to. This is just how I maintain my stuff. I mean, if you want to take my tips and advice, that's great. I've been doing this for some years. I've never had any issues with it. I got other friends that, you know, they've been doing it for years and they go thousands of rounds before they do any maintenance. And I'm like, that's fine, but I just don't want to take a chance of being in a bad situation and find out, hey, I'm jamming up now. It's not ejecting, you know, it's dirty. So that's just my belief. You guys do what you want to do. All right, the spring. So I just took the spring out of the gunk blaster bath. Just make sure all that extra gunk blaster stuff is off of there. It looks pretty good and clean. You can kind of feel how dry it is too from that gunk blaster. So just the aerosol. And what I like to do is I'll give it a little squirt, get some coming out, and then what's left in the holes, I'll just kind of dabble that all the way down. Because like I said, you don't want this stuff sticking to the point that it starts to stick, because as you fire this, all that gunpowder inside of there, it will build up and catch on there. And then that's when you start to have problems. All right, so back to the barrel now, or back to the slide. Oh, no, not right now. All right. I'm just making sure this is oiled up nicely. Just making sure it's nice and shiny at least. Now we'll slide the barrel in there. I put a little bit of COP on that. Here, let me stick my finger in this tip right here. Make sure we got COP in there. Yeah, everything looks nice and good. Let's slide the barrel in. Put my spring back in. Yeah, the 2.0 is my favorite firearm. I literally have 5 or 6 of these, and they're all different. This is I think this is the only PC that I have though. Now we lock that back. Let's test everything. And if it feels nice and smooth. So you know, sometimes when it's real dirty, as you pull this back, you can feel it kind of like a bunch of sand and dirt in there and debris. It can feel real gritty. It can kind of fight you. This is nice and smooth. All right, we're going to test fire it. And I feel comfortable test firing it because there's still no mag in it. And we just put it together so I know there's no ammo in it. Perfect. Perfect. Yep, that's it. All right, well, yeah, we're good to go. So I'm just going to dry this thing off with some paper towel on the outside here. Get this all nice and shiny and load it back up and put it back in the holster and wait till the next time I leave and put it back on. All right, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I showed you something new, and I hope you give things a try. Leave me a comment if you got anything to say. You know, let me know what you think. And like I said, I'm just doing this for fun and just to kind of educate people. So hopefully it helped someone out. If it didn't, you know, my apologies. If it did, that's great. But hey, I had fun making this. I hope you guys have fun watching it. And as usual, be safe and stay ready.